hardly know her.
The Oscars, a polarizing topic amongst the film community.
And the Oscar goes to Green Book.
But I'm not here to talk about the awards themselves. I'm here to talk about the 10 films nominated for Best Picture. We're ranking them from worst to best, so without further ado, let's do this.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
Belfast is kinda boring. It's not bad in any particular way, it's just kinda bland. At least the acting was decent, and the cinematography. But there's just really nothing here I can latch onto. Yeah, I wouldn't particularly recommend this to anyone. Maybe your grandmother who's seen like 4 movies in the past 10 years. She'll probably like it.
It feels so good to be alive.
King Richard is cliche as fuck. I've seen this movie like 1,000 times before, and this one does very little to stand out. Like, how many times do I have to hear in the underdog story the speech that goes, "Oh, you never make it. In this racket, you gotta be the best. It's 1 in a million."
Tennis is a technical game, you know, probably one of the most, and if you didn't grow up with the game, then the chances of achieving the kind of mastery and success that you're talking about, I mean, for one kid, let alone 2, it's like asking somebody to believe that you got the next 2 Mozarts.
Will Smith has never been my favorite, but he does a pretty good job here. I saw the film last week and I struggled to remember anything significant. I did remember this though.
You don't want to risk all that, do you, Richard?
Don't Look Up is a mixed bag. Some of the comedy really was funny, like that bit with the general and him charging money for free snacks. That was pretty funny. But this film is also filled with cringeworthy modern-day SNL millennial humor that might work for some, but definitely did not work for me. I got a good feeling that these jokes are gonna age like milk in a few years.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I do.
Diddley just exploded. So did Vroom Vroom.
Wait, Bash News just sent me 8 push notifications.
About this?
Yeah.
The score, very jazzy. I like it. The editing is also a mixed bag. You got great cuts like this.
But if there's one thing that I pray that all of you hear from what I have just said, is that all of us,
Why'd you do that?
But then you have like these Discovery Channel ass edits like this. The cast does this thing, no complaints here. And wow, we really live in a society, don't we? Coda was cute, very wholesome, kinda boring though. Much like King Richard, I felt like I'd seen this movie 1,000 times before. The main actress is pretty solid, and it's a surprisingly funny movie. That is 2 fart jokes and 2 separate Best Picture nominations if you're keeping count.
What's good, YouTube? This is Modded Controller 360 with the Controller of the Week.
Dune, Part 1, is overrated. Don't get me wrong, it's very impressive from a technical aspect, but the story's some ass, man. In a world where Star Wars, Harry Potter, and a bunch of other sci-fi fantasy classics exist, this story doesn't engage me as much as those. And I get it, the source material came out before all those things I've mentioned before. But in the year 2021, the Dune story just comes off generic to me. A chosen one. Some mythical power only few can possess. A desert space planet. How many of those are we still getting? You get my point. But despite that, and the complete embarrassment of an ending, I can't call this a bad film in any way. Would definitely recommend you watching this one on your iPhone. Nightmare Alley surprised me. Looked like more Oscar bait to me, but it turned out to be really good. It's broken into 2 distinct halves, the latter being the more interesting one. Not too much to say about this one, just a really solid movie. Drive My Car is way too long, but I still liked it. This one is by far the least accessible out of the bunch, with its slow pacing and 3-hour runtime. I probably would have cut out 15-20 minutes from this thing, especially that prologue.
I'm in a store and I'm singing! Hey!
West Side Story is a well-made musical. Full transparency here, musicals are not my thing, but I can recognize a good one when I see it. Almost every aspect of the film is done with class. My issue lies with the two leads. Ansel Elgort felt stiff, and Rachel Zegler is fine, but doesn't have the best chemistry with her counterpart. The supporting cast are the real standouts. The Power of the Dog is one of those films where it gets better the more you think about it. I would go deeper into this one, but I've only seen it once, and this thing is just begging for a second watch. Speaking of rewatching films, Licorice Pizza is the only one of these I've seen twice, and it really benefited from it. It's truly a unique film that only a master like PTA can pull off. I mean, it really feels like a film from the 70s. Alana Haim and Cooper Hoffman are amazing, not only just for newcomers. And I wanted more Bradley Cooper. It kind of runs out of steam towards the end, and I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. That being said, not only is this my favorite out of the 10 Best Picture noms, it's my favorite movie of 2021. So yeah, the Oscars premiere tonight. I'm sure it's going to be a great show. And till next time, thanks for watching.